I want to be in contention. Like, it hurts. There's all those awesome photos of the Olympic final, of those four guys finishing. Some of the most iconic pictures in track and field. But I'm not in the picture. I'm out of frame. They opened up 2 seconds on me in the last, on a 150. So that's not where I want to be for the rest of my career. I won't always win, but I want to be in frame, in contention. I want people to be worried about me. I want people to be talking about me.
That was Hobbs Kessler today on the Running Effect podcast, and I'm your host, Dominic Schluter. I'm thrilled you've clicked on today's episode because anytime I get the privilege and opportunity to speak with Hobbs, it's a great conversation. If you're not familiar with Hobbs, last year at the Olympics, he placed 5th in the 1500 behind Team USA teammates Yared Nuguse and Cole Hawker, who ultimately ended up winning that race. But in that race specifically for Hobbs, he ran 3:29.45 in what was the most stacked and competitive 1500-meter race of probably all time. He also qualified and ran in the 800-meter race at the Olympics, where he was eliminated in the semifinals, I believe. Back in high school, Hobbs was an absolute stud, where he ran an indoor mile record of 3:57.66, and then later that year, he ran 3:34.36 in the 1500, which not only was a record for high school, but was faster than the NCAA record at the time of running that. That year, he also qualified for the U.S. Olympic trials in 2021. Out of high school, he signed a professional contract with Adidas. And now Hobbs is just on a mission to become the best in the world, as you'll hear about in this conversation at the age of 21 years old. Always love these conversations. This one was fun, lighthearted, and really just dove into how Hobbs is taking what he learned in 2024 in that breakout year and bringing it into 2025 as he looks to be the best 1500-meter runner in the world. His belief, his self-confidence, we go into it all. We also go into his training, both from a track and running perspective, but also in the gym. And we get into a bunch of different intricacies, which I loved hearing about. If you guys enjoy this one, please share it with a friend. The easiest way in which this podcast can grow is through the recommendation of a friend. And then also make sure you are following or subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss another episode. And my final favor of you is take 5 seconds, hit the 5-star review button, helps us out a ton. Without further ado, I hope you all enjoy this conversation with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Hobbs Kessler. Mr. Hobbs Kessler, welcome back to the Running Effect podcast. 2025, the year of Hobbs. How you doing, man?
Doing good. I like that. It's good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Obviously, last year, a big year for you, and we had a conversation post-Olympics. Now we're in this new year. I'm sure you've turned the page. What's the mindset, energy, and ambition going into this new year?
I just want to dot every I and cross every T and put myself in the best position possible to really kind of take advantage of the post-Olympic lull. So I figure if I can kind of do everything right on my end and get really fit, then I can kind of take some scalps and just push myself up to that one higher level, because last year I was in contention in every race I ran, but only won a handful. So trying to convert those second and thirds into wins is kind of the goal this year. And things have gone smooth. So hoping the results reflect that.
I feel like a lot of your winters throughout the years are where you've leveled up. I think most clearly to that one winter where you broke 4 minutes in the mile and no one really knew your name before that. And we've talked about that race in many previous conversations where it was like, who is this guy? Where'd he come from? How do you break 4? How do you feel about this winter? And why do you feel like winter is the time that Hobbs Kessler really levels up in running?
Yeah, I think just coming off a long fall of uninterrupted training is really the ticket, right? Because you can get 3 or 4 months of not missing a day, not having to back off for races, et cetera, et cetera. You get stronger in the gym, you get faster in your strides, and obviously you get aerobically stronger with all the workouts and volume. So just having that kind of level up, like that uninterrupted period of time, I think really allows you to push up your ceiling. So that's kind of been our philosophy for my whole career, is try to really just get better as an athlete in the fall and sharpen up for the winter. It's such a long season. I think it's wasteful not to race indoors. It's fun, and what else you can do? Worlds isn't until September, so you might as well get some racing in and enjoy it. Kind of break it up.
Stronger in the gym. What does that look like for you? What's your normal gym routine, and how much can Hobbs Kessler bench? We threw you on the bench today. What would you be maxing out at?
Uh, I don't know, probably not that much. Like 2 years ago, I started working with Jake Whiteman, strength coach. So it's been great, and really, I've just made huge jumps in my running, and it's been great. So Andy K is the guy's name. He's been programming my gym for the last 2 or so years, but really in the last year or so, I've just become much more proficient in the gym. I've kind of gotten over that hump and just been able to get consistently stronger. But you really see it translate to like your raw speed, but also just like how well you can run race pace or how efficiently you can run race pace. Like your miles per gallon are a little bit lower, as well as even slower paces, right? And then also, obviously, it comes with more benefits of being robust. And yeah, it's just good stuff. And ideally, like you just have a little bit of extra like speed reserve. The last 150 is the thinking. So I highly recommend it. I think Andy's taking on clients. So if anyone's interested, I really um, recommend you reach out to him. The guy's name is Andy K. But kind of what it looks like for me is like he's really into um, like a lot of running specific stuff, and so most lifts start out with a isometric, either on a leg press or pushing into a bar, and I think that's just one of the most key exercises because you really um, like stiffen up your lower legs and like get that like response off the ground, um, as well as kind of bulletproofing your Achilles and some other things. So, and you just kind of have a lot of tension going through your body. So this makes you a little more solid overall. So we start off most lifts with that. Then we go into a few sets of plyos, whether that be like pogos, hurdle hops, kind of movement jumps, a few of those, and then normally a heavier lift. So um, quarter squats or hip thrusts or trap bar deadlifts, stuff like that. And then some more miscellaneous stuff, maybe an RDL, some more lower leg stuff, um, some hip stuff, and maybe core. But I skip that a lot, so don't tell them that because I'm normally a little fried at the end of the session. But um, I'm a real believer in it, but I do think you kind of have to be consistent over time. It seems like initially you kind of get a strength boost just from like your body kind of like um, figuring out
New
like, all right, this is what we're
stimulus.
doing. Yeah, do stimulus, and then for me it plateaued for a little bit, and then again, like once I got really proficient in everything, it's just kind of been a nice linear like strength and like bounciness gain over the last year. And again, you really see that in your robustness and your running economy, and also just like the raw power you can have when you run. So hopefully, I want to match the Cole Hawker kick here. I haven't been able. I don't think I've ever beaten him. So uh, if it's a high bar. So try to do every little thing to achieve that.
Does he have the best kick in your opinion? 100, 150 left of a global race. Is he the guy you're thinking about?
I mean, I think Yard has a pretty underrated kick as well, but he doesn't seem to be able to do it from as far out. But he's really able to like spin well the last 50. So like he's really dangerous too. But I mean, I really think like everyone but Jakob has a really good kick. And normally Jakob's too far away to catch him anyway, so or just too strong. But yeah, Cole is as far as like the balance between strength and explosiveness, he's probably the best. I mean, that's what won him the Olympics. So um, the results kind of speak for themselves.
Speaking on the gym piece some more in your coach, you mentioned Andy there. In previous conversations, we've obviously talked about Coach Ronnie, and we have also talked about Coach Henner, who's been on the podcast many times, great friend, amazing guy. For you and those people, are they pretty constant communication with each other? And what's that process like for them of, figuring out what to do on what days, given what the other coaches are having you do, and that kind of collaboration between the three of them?
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, like Ronnie's just kind of like a support role, just kind of being there to um, like like support the team and kind of create a good culture. But he's not really doing much hands-on coaching with me anymore. So it's normally Pat or Coach Henner, as I should probably say, and then my dad, just kind of collaborating over stuff. And they both do a really good job of articulating um, their ideas and why they're doing them. You can like really try to figure out what the best thing is, and so us three communicate really really well, and can like really try to um, like pin down like what stimulus we're trying to hit, why we're hitting it, and why the reason we think the reason we're doing it, why the reason we're doing it is going to work well. And so it just kind of creates a really airtight plan, in my opinion, where everything's really really well thought out. And I mean, Pat's been coaching for so long that he's like got a lot of people in his corner, and so we also like he reaches out for a lot of second opinions, and really like no ego involved. It's just like what will yield the best results. So it's been working really well, and I feel really relieved because I just feel like it's a really consistent, repeatable program. And you have people like a lot of athletes like kind of like a few times in their career find this magical fitness, and then for whatever reason they're not able to handle the same training load, they get hurt, whatever it is, that can never reach that fitness. And I think like we have all the snags figured out where I'm not like really worried about getting to that fitness again. Like we know the steps, we know how to kind of eliminate the risks that will like inhibit like the training from happening that you need to get there. So really confident in our program, and we can kind of continue to refine it, and we're not like really attached to any one method. We just want to do whatever works the best, you know?
I love it. I love it. One of the big pieces of the storyline to set the stage for 2025 is the Wanamaker Mile at the Milrose Games. Curious, stacked field. You're obviously a part of it. You're one of the reasons why it's so stacked. What's the mindset going into a race like that, and how much weight do you put into a race like this, where obviously ridiculously prestigious, big indoor race, ton of history, but I'm sure all you really care about September and the World Championships and everything leads up to that. So what's your mindset for something like this?
I don't know. I take it really seriously. The World's is 9 months away. I'm not super worried about it. I think the best thing I could do to prepare is take these opportunities really seriously. Like you said, there's a lot of prestige. You have a race against great competition, great atmosphere, one of the best races in the world, like just absolutely electric. So I'm sharpening up for it. I take it really seriously, and I'm ready to compete to win. Like I said, I had a lot of seconds and thirds last year. I'm not interested in those anymore. Like I'm here to win, or go down trying as hard as I can. So all the pieces are there for it, but all you can do is go compete on the day.
For you, big competitor mindset right there. A lot of people, specifically indoors, are so focused on chasing times. How much do you feel like the times themselves come with competition and competing to win, as well as just like, do you even care about times at this point? Or is it more just like, I just want to win whatever race I'm in?
Yeah, I mean, I would rather like win the Wanamaker in 354 than be second in 346. So, I mean, everyone wants to win. It's I think one of the most prestigious miles in the world. I mean, you think the Wanamaker, the Fifth Ave Mile, Bowerman Mile, probably Oslo Mile you could throw in there, just like the classics. So having my name on that would be great, and I think you just gotta go compete. I mean, go break some tape. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. Times just keep getting faster and faster, so I'm sure there will be an opportunity to run faster later on. That being said, if I were to run fast, I'd want to do it at Milrose again because the atmosphere, and because it's I'm a really big BU hater, so it's not at BU. So I think any indoor time. I just think there's like a mechanical advantage to BU that is
really
like
okay,
so significant that it's almost to the point of absurdity. Not to like take away from anyone's performances at BU. Anyone who's run faster, you still got to run the time. Like the track doesn't do it for you. but I think it's like so much faster than any other um, indoor track in the world, and probably any other outdoor track, just because like the bounciness of it, and um, how wide it is, and the steepness of the banks, and et cetera, that it's just like I don't take it super seriously. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I'm not to talk shit, but I'm not as impressed by a VU time as I would be a time at the Armory. You know what I mean? Just
Have you ever ran there slash would you ever with the BU hate?
I have run there. I ran there once, and I mean, I ran well. I liked it. I mean, I love the atmosphere there. It's really fun, and I love the track atmosphere, and everyone's just going there to rip, and so there are a lot of things I like about it. But again, especially in the NCAA, but even as pros, it's just kind of taken over the indoor season, right? Um, Everyone just goes there to chase times. No one remembers who won heats, and it's just kind of not in the spirit of racing. And again, you have the mechanical advantage of the track itself, which I think undermines the result a little bit. You know?
You ever see? I feel like it's at Zurich every year. They try to make the 5K like the street race. You ever see that
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
like
I did. That looked really
500
weird,
meter
eh?
track? Would you ever do a race like that or no?
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like in the city square, that track it was like a triangle or something weird if
I
I remember
know the
correctly.
turns were janky.
But I think some Ethiopian dude ran like 12:40 there. So um, I don't know. That's wild. But I think that'd be cool. I really like road racing and like stuff like that. So I'm all for it. I mean, even if they built a 200-meter track outdoors in like the middle of downtown, I think that would be super cool. Or even like if they like it would be cool if they hosted a meet in Madison Square Garden again,
Oh, it'd be
like they
so
used to
sick.
like 20 years ago. Like I'd be pretty stoked to run on like a 150-meter track. You just kind of like whip around.
You get like Noah Lyles, Sha'Carri Richardson, a thing mo. Like if you got the biggest names in the sport, I actually think you could sell out Madison Square Gardens 100%.
I mean, that'd be pretty damn cool.
Because the thing is, like Eugene, like everyone's like, oh, we can't fill you. It's like no one lives in Eugene, and it's so expensive to fly into Eugene. Like I'm as big of a track fan as they come, but if I didn't like get paid to go out there by a company, I wouldn't
Yeah,
go because it's too expensive. So New York,
yeah,
the density of fan there, and how close it is to Boston and like all the neighboring states, I think the influx of fans. I think it would be crazy. I actually think you could pack Madison Square Gardens. Would be crazy. So I
that would
also
be
think you
so
could like
cool.
like simulate kind of what they do at NBA games too of like courtside. Like imagine being like courtside for the track, like get a bunch of New York
Yeah,
celebs.
I mean that'd be cool. Also, like I think like you can kind of do a lot to really just make it like you kind of make it a party. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
play music, like really get the lights down. Like um, I just feel like there's a lot of like little things you could do to add spunk to indoor track meet. I mean outdoor track meets too, but like indoor track meets, I think it's comparable to a basketball game just because it's got that intimate feeling. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so like yeah, well, play music whether it be walkout songs or just in between races. You know, have some spotlights, like make it cool, and make
We're
it
cooking,
loud.
Hobbs. We're cooking. We got to do more podcasts with each other. Hey, the CEO of Madison Square Gardens, the owner of it, hit us up if you're listening to the podcast, which you definitely aren't. But if you happen to be, my number's open. You
Just do
mentioned
another track
both,
meet.
yeah, you mentioned both Cole Hawker and Yared earlier, and we talked about this in our last conversation with each other. Just like you're fifth in the world, but you were third in the U.S. in that race. Do you almost appreciate that because it's like people talk about you and people obviously like you're a storyline specifically with your age, but you are kind of in their shadow, which is probably nice in the fact that you're like this isn't going to last for long and I've got like way less to lose than they do because someone like Cole, if you're Olympic champion, the expectation, you saw this with Jakob when he started talking beef with Josh, it's like you either have to win or you're done. Like no one wants anything less. When you're fifth in the world, you got some wiggle room and less pressure is on you. How do you feel about like where you stand in terms of the American side of things and viewing this year, as you said, like I'm sick of placing second and third. Like I want it all.
Yeah, I mean, I would way rather be in Cole's position, bring on the pressure.
You like the pressure?
I like, it's not anything to hide from, right? Like everyone wants to be the man, everyone wants to be the champ, but you pay the price with the pressure. But that's part of the job. It's not something I'm scared of. But I mean, you got to earn it. Like fifth place doesn't do it. So um, I want to be in contention. Like it hurts. There's all those awesome photos of the Olympic final, right? Of those four guys finishing, and it's just I would argue some of the most iconic pictures in track and field. But I'm not in the picture. I'm out of frame. They opened up 2 seconds on me in the last I don't know 150. So that's not where I want to be for the rest of my career. I won't always win, but I want to be in frame, in contention. I want people to be worried about me. I want people to be talking about me. So we're working on the day to day to get to that point. I think it starts with the fitness, but I don't know. It's really a cool spot to be in American miling, but it's um, it's pretty cutthroat right now. Like it's gonna be hard to make teams. There might be 330 guys that don't make teams from here on out. So I mean, Vince ran 331 closing in 53. He absolutely had 330 fitness, and it's just everyone was that good. So I think it'll push everyone to be better, and everyone will have to keep their foot on the gas. No one will be able to have let training slip or let whatever like letting your career kind of slip by, getting cavalier is just not really an option. Otherwise, you won't make teams and won't really be relevant or in contention. So I think it'll push us all to be better. America's already the best miling country in the world, and it's going to continue to get better and better. So uh, I'm really excited about it, and pressure's on. But again, I'm ready for it, and um, I want to be. Everyone's talking about Yared, Cole, Jakob, and Josh, and um, I want to be in contention with those guys beating them. Like I'm sick of not being in the conversation. I think I'm old enough and developed enough and have enough savvy to um, be in that position. So it's game time.
Let's go, baby. In your opinion, what does that take to jump from fifth to first? Is it you just need more time to develop? Is it new training? Is it mindset? Is it just having it on the day? In your opinion, what's it going to take to make that make that jump? I was going to say jump or leap and combine both of them. So we'll go with jump.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I think it's like it's really easy to be like I need to train harder, I need to do more, I need to do different, and really easy to go down that path. But I think at the end of the day, you just need to be intentional and consistent. So just doing good, solid training, and just let it stack up day after day, month after month, year after year, and kind of compound. And just slowly build. Your fitness will slowly push up your ceiling. Your fitness will slowly build, and hopefully eventually get to that level. But yeah, just smart, solid, consistent training year after year. I wish there was a way to fast forward it, but you just got to kind of take it one day at a time and let things build. So that's what I'm doing. Have it like the last year and a half, all my training's gone. Um, Pretty much. I mean, I've gotten sick a few times, but overall, everything I can control, it's gone to plan. And I think that's a skill that you develop. Like there is an element of luck, but a lot of it's just being really smart in your training and trying to figure out like what leads to inconsistency, what leads to me missing days, what leads to me feeling burnt out, and just trying to kind of resolve those snags. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping this is the year I'll have enough training under my belt to be in that race, but we'll see. I've controlled everything I can control, and now it's just see what I got. All I can do is compete. So sleep easy knowing I've handled my business, but I know eventually I'll get there. I don't know if it'll be this year, next year, whatever, but again, I have a lot of faith in our systems, and I know it will eventually stack up to me being in the fitness I need to be in that finishing photo, so to speak, and hopefully
At the
have
front
my
of it.
moment.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or would you, if you were in college, you're 21, right? Would you be a junior, senior at
Yeah,
the moment?
senior. Yeah.
Okay. So you're youngin'. I guess the question I want to ask you here is how much like what's your life been in terms of, obviously took the unconventional path, didn't go to college, took a pro deal with Adidas, shout out of high school. For you, can you take me through that path? And do you feel like you've properly adjusted to like being an adult, or do you still feel like a kid? Because, and how often are you aware that just like, wow, I'm like, even take the running side out of it, like my life's crazy, my life's cool, like I gotta travel the flag, I gotta like have all these experiences. And just kind of how have you adjusted to the difference in lifestyle in relation to your age? Because that's something I think about a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think in some ways I'm good at being an adult, and from a running standpoint, I think I handle my career like really professionally. I'm really proud of kind of how I've conducted it over the last year and a half or so. But I would say I'm still, as far as like being an adult and like, you know, I still have to like call my mom to help me with adult stuff all the time. So, um, like I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm ahead of anyone else, but it's been a really good journey. And I think it's like overall, it's been like in the grand scheme of the world, it's been really privileged and pretty easy. Like I get to run for a living. And just have like one singular focus. So it's really not so bad. And um, I mean, COVID happened my junior year of high school, and I really fully committed to running. So I've really been running full time since then, right? So 5 years now. So I even before I turned pro, I had a year and a half of um, already approaching my running like I was a pro, right? That's how I thought about it. Ronnie was a professional coach that was coaching me. I didn't really have. I mean, I had online school, but like I didn't really have any responsibilities with that, so it's kind of been my sole responsibility here for a long time. And there's been a lot of learning and trying to figure it out and what it means to really give everything to your path in running. But I think I'm slowly getting it more and more figured out. But I don't know if I'll ever have it all the way figured out. We'll just kind of keep going with time and keep refining things. But I'm super grateful for my journey here. It's been really great.
I mentioned the progression and leaps that you've made throughout the years, and specifically in these like small periods of time, like the winter, which is what I mentioned before. We're in January, in the middle of January, which is crazy. This year's already flying by. And I think a lot of kids, really view January as the period to set goals and think about the type of person, the type of runner, what they want to accomplish by the end of the year, by December. For you, as someone who's consistently done it, what would you say to a listener out there who wants to have that breakthrough this year and they're putting in the work, they're being consistent? Like, what would the piece of advice be to make 2025 the best year of someone's life from a running perspective?
I mean, you nailed it right there. Like, you got to put in the work and be consistent. Those are the two keys. So, from a training standpoint, you just kind of got to remove your ego. Like, never really try to prove anything to yourself in training. That's, I would say, a dangerous road to go down. So, you're training to race well. You're not training to like train even, like to do great workouts. But I would say, like, when you're on the line, just make the decision with yourself to put yourself in the race and really compete. Like, um, I think everyone is kind of faced with that decision at some point in the race. It's going to get hard. You're hurting bad. Someone makes a move. You're like, you kind of have that, like, I'm okay with third today. I'm okay with fifth today, right? Or it's like, are you going to cover it? So make that decision before the race. Don't make it in the race while you're hurting. Be like, I'm making a decision, so then it's already made. You can cover that move. Um, I think kind of really putting yourself in contention opens a lot of doors, right? Because if the fitness is there and you put yourself in contention, all the pieces are there. You're going to have a good result, most likely. So um, I would say do that. I would say really just try to be intentional about your career and how you like why you're doing stuff and why you're racing, and kind of don't do things because you feel like other people are doing them, so you feel like you have to do them, or um, like know why you're doing things. And I guess I would say the last thing is just like be patient and kind to yourself. Like hold yourself accountable, put yourself in the race, do all those things like I said. But sometimes like progress isn't linear, and you just got to kind of stay in it, right? Don't like suck your joy away from the sport because you're not where you want to be. I think it's important to celebrate any progress you're making, and um, that's like some advice Pat gave me when I was coming back from injury, my first year as a pro, and I think that really changed the trajectory of my career. Right, like just because it's so easy to be like, you're a 405 guy that wants to run four flat, and you run 404, even though it's a PR, you're just not four flat. For you know what I mean? It's just so easy to just like um, not celebrate and not be proud of yourself or celebrate the progress you're making just because it gets undermined by not being where you think you should be. So really celebrating every bit of progress, I think just makes it a much more enjoyable and sustainable thing.
Totally. Absolutely. Great advice there. Pat, in our conversation, was sharing a lot about your speed development and his work with you there. And he was sharing some of the workouts and some of the splits. From your perspective, leading into Milrose, obviously a good amount of time between recording this and Milrose, but what's a workout you've done recently that you're like, man, I'm leveling up. I'm getting better at this running thing.
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't done too much hard stuff, right? Um, well, I did one decently hard workout, but it wasn't anything special. I'll do another one this weekend. But I really think like I've just made big progress in base training. And everyone takes base training as, oh, just mileage, right? But like kind of our attitude on base training is like base training, you get stronger. Obviously, you get stronger aerobically, but you also like you become a better athlete, stronger in the gym, more explosive. So really, you're working on both ends of it, right? The strength and power as well as the engine, right? So um, I'm running like thresholds faster than I've ever run it at a lower lactate. So that proves to me like we're making really good progress on the strength end, on the aerobic strength end of things. And then um, I'm doing those flying 40s Pat talks about smoother. And I haven't really gone faster than I did last year, but I'm running the same times more relaxed. So that's huge progress. And I mean, I'm sure if I push, I could go a little faster, but um, there's progress and I'm just able to relax into fast paces better. So I'm super happy about that. And then I'm moving heavier weights in the gym faster. So I'm lifting better. I'm able to produce more force. So I'm just happy all the pieces are there, and I'm just kind of like raising my stats on all fronts. So nothing in particular stands out or super flashy, but we're just a few notches ahead of last year, and I'm super proud of that because I think at this level, like you kind of never know when you're going to tap out. So and like reach your limit. So any progress from here, I'm thrilled about, and I think um, those little differences really add up. So um, I think
He's a
yeah,
new
I
man.
think they all point towards good things coming, but um,
Buy Hobbs Kessler stock is
nothing
what I
super
hear.
flashy.
Yeah,
Yeah, please do.
the athletes that normally have the flashy moments are the ones who will burn out. And as you said, like yeah, there are key moments you care about Milrose, but World Championships is in September, and that consistency piece, like that's what really pays off. So if you came on the podcast and were like, oh yeah, we've been like ripping 400s every week for the past 8 weeks, I'd be like, it doesn't
Yeah,
make me sound like the
yeah.
best
I
thing to
mean,
be doing.
well, I mean,
Slow,
who like
steady wins.
yeah, slow, steady. That exactly. Like just things are just building on top of each other. So I'm super happy, super proud, and super grateful for like um, all the people that have kind of like given me the guidance to understand this and get better, get a little bit better. So uh, I don't know. It's looking good. We'll you know we'll wait to race before we make any big big claims. But I think I'm gonna get. I'm farther along than last year. Um, so that alone makes me happy because kind of last year was the year that everything went my way. Everything went smooth. So and those years are really hard to follow up. So the fact that I'm in a better spot than I was last year is really encouraging.
Senior year of high school, Hobbs Kessler, who ran 357 and all the things he did, if he was to train with current version of Hobbs, so like take January version of Hobbs senior year of high school with current Hobbs, how long would he be able to hang on some of these workouts and training weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think Well, it depends. I like in high school, I'm running probably more than twice as much, right? And especially if you look at the quality end of things, way more than twice as much. So um, it's really hard to compare. Like I'm grateful. In high school, I just did like a ton of track work. Like I didn't really do that much strength work, and the strength work I did was also track work. It would just be like 5K work, right? Um, which I think it's probably good to keep your volume lower in high school and running fast a lot. It just like kind of helps develop your mechanics and explosiveness and um, like really kind of get that big anaerobic engine. Because so I'm grateful the way I'm glad we did things the way we did. If I looking back at my training logs, I actually think it was pretty risky the way we did. Like Ronnie had me running hard. Like there was like a 2 week stretch where I was in spikes 9 or 10 days within 2 weeks, right?
Wow.
So between like racing high school races, like I'd like work out with Nick, do a high school race, do hard strides, work out with Nick, then do a high school race the next like or run easy, run 3 miles the next day, then run a high school. Like you know what I mean? It was it was like I think if you were to repeat it a few times, it wouldn't work well every time just because it was so risky. But luckily, I got away with it, and I think it put me in a good spot. But nowadays, we do things a lot differently. And as far as the track work, like um, I guess you could compare it to like we were just kind of a machine gun doing a lot of track sessions all the time, um, and just kind of hoping it would be the thing I needed. And now we're like a lot more like snipers. So just doing a few track sessions and really nailing them, getting exactly what we want out of them. Um, but I think on high school hops could have hung on any given day. Like nothing I do is that crazy.
What are the boys up to in Flagstaff when you're not running this training camp?
Uh, let's see. Nothing really new. We've been playing. I don't know if you heard of Secret Hitler, but that's kind of
Oh
been
yeah, great game.
our pastime recently. So
Who's
um,
winning?
I'm always winning. Actually,
On and off the
I'm
track, baby.
yeah no. I mean, if we look at the let's not look back at the records. Just take me for my
Oh
word. But
gosh. Okay. Do I need to text Bryce
I
after
think
this?
you might. But no, that's kind of we've been pretty into board games recently. So uh, it's Catan and Secret Hitler and stuff. But I think I'm a pretty suspicious fascist. Like I have a hard time lying. But
Someone's gonna clip that.
sometimes I get lucky. Yeah, yeah.
Be like, what? Board game or card game guy? And what's your top two? Like, what's your favorite card game, favorite board game?
Yeah, I would say Egyptian Rascal is my favorite
Oh, great game,
card
dude.
game.
You know some
You know,
niche games, brother.
I think every cross country runner knows Egyptian
Yeah,
Rascal.
that's
That's
fair. That's fair.
baked into cross country culture right there. Um, I don't know. I like Secret Hitler. Catan, I don't have the attention span for, and I get really frustrated and stressed. So I I like the shorter games a little better, but yeah, we've been having a good time with that. But really, um, in my opinion, being a professional runner is like you kind of got to be okay being bored and not doing fun stuff. So I just I don't know. We're not really going out and doing much. We're just training and then
You're locked
laying
in.
low.
You're on
But
your winter arc,
locked in, I
as the
guess.
kids would say.
Yeah, exactly. I love the winter arc. I love that term. Too bad it's kind of been taken over. Been it's so silly now. But yeah, I don't know. I just think like to be a great runner, you kind of got to be okay sacrificing some of the fun things. You know, you can't really go out or do a lot, or um, maybe if you're an 800 runner, you can. But if you're in an event that requires you to do a lot of volume, you really have to dedicate most of your energy towards that, um, which some people are more okay with than others. But you know, I'm okay being a boring guy. Like my definite, like I just like having people over and hanging out, but I don't really need much more than that. You know.
Closing out this conversation with some quick rapid fires. First one for you. What shoe are you currently training in the most?
Oh, good question. Okay, I don't know if this one is out yet, so I hope
Okay.
Adidas doesn't get mad at me. But it's the actually it might be. I think it's out because they launched it at the running event. But the Evo SL is kind of my trainer of choice these days. It's like um, kind of based off the I'm gonna mess up the names, but Adidas had like this shoe that some woman ran 211 in that was like half the weight of any other super shoe. So they kind of made a trainer version of it with a similar foam, and it's like really light and just snappy and feels nice on your feet. So that's the shoe I've been wearing recently, and then I just got my hands on a pair of Adios Pro 4s. So I've been doing a lot of my quality in those. Like they've really improved the upper. The only thing I really didn't like about the Adios Pro 3 was like the upper was really stiff. So now it's kind of a nice stretchy upper, so like it kind of conforms to your foot a lot better. So uh, really really like those shoes. And you kind of like fly along. And then I've also been wearing a lot of the old school Adios 8. That might be on the Adios 9 now. I'm not sure, but I do think it's like kind of like a more old school flat where I've been doing a lot of my hills and strides and stuff in those just because I do think running in those higher stack soft foam shoes does come at a cost. It kind of like makes your lower legs a little bit weak. So um, running in some shoes that kind of force you to use your lower legs, I think offsets the lower leg atrophy that you get from running in super shoes all the time. So that's kind of my rotation at the moment.
Number 2, what's your go-to recovery snack or meal?
Oh, dude, I take this super seriously. So, I just have a giant bag in my car full of like I have like fruit snacks, Rice Krispie treats, like Fruit Loops, applesauce, anything. So I just normally before I even cool down, I eat one, then I eat a few more. I just pick them out randomly on the way home, along with some whey protein. But um, I should say that earlier. That's like some of the best advice I can give is eat um, carbs and protein, but specifically carbs as soon as you can after your workout. For me, I think that's one of the biggest things that contributes to consistency is just feeling right. And I think like don't and from my understanding, it's not eating super clean isn't the thing. You just got to eat calories as soon as you can after like especially hard efforts, but really all efforts. Um, So I normally have like applesauce, Rice Krispie treat, fruit snacks, then like a scoop away um, within 5 minutes of finishing my session. And that's been one of the biggest differences I've made um, in the last year and a half, and I that I swear by it. I think that makes the biggest difference as far as feeling better day in and day out. Um, so Jeff Burns, or I should say Dr. Jeff Burns, is the physiologist we work with, and he kind of helped me um, figure that out, and that's some of the best advice I've ever gotten. So, if I were going to say anything to a young runner, never train fasted, and eat right after. So eat before and after. Don't try to be tough. Don't roll out of bed before cross country practice and not eat anything. You're going to feel worse. Can't recommend it strongly enough.
Totally agree. Number 3, what one part of your routine do you swear by?
Well, that was it right there. But
You can double down.
there,
It's
there,
rapid fire.
yeah, I'm gonna double down on my feelings. So um,
We'll
I don't
do.
know. I just like eat peanut butter and and a bagel or peanut butter and bread and a glass of orange juice before my runs. But again, I cannot recommend it enough. Before and after, religiously, don't miss it. You kind of you just like don't get worn down as much. It just kind of helps you stay on top of everything, and like you your body never starts eating itself. So and then on top of that, like if you're doing long runs, I would really encourage you to um, take as many carbs as your stomach can handle. Again, before, during, and after, but don't be afraid of it. And it's always better to be heavy and strong than light and weak. So from an energy standpoint and from an injury standpoint, from like everything, eat. But
We'll do one more, and no food on this one because you could easily use that answer. What's one underrated tip for staying injury free?
oh man, that was my tip right there. Yeah, all three of these covered. But I would say like don't like get greedy with trying to get too many miles out of your shoes. Um, Like
That's a good
kind
one.
of once they go stale, just just spend the little extra bit and get a new pair of shoes because um, I have found just for me, even though I get free shoes, I still do this all the time where I can't help it. You want to get every last drop out of the shoe, and then things start popping up once you're running too much in dead shoes. So you know, force yourself to throw them away. Never look back. Get a new pair of shoes. I think that really makes a difference. And then I guess my other, yeah, get in the gym, lift heavy, jump hard. That really makes you robust. And I would also say just like warm up in the first mile. You don't need to like run a 7 flat first mile. It's okay to run 8-10 for the first mile, shuffle into it. And then once you're feeling good, you can pick it up, but don't force it the first little bit.
It's good stuff. Great advice from the man, Hobbs Kessler. Hobbs, always appreciate our conversations, the wisdom you bring, the fun, energy, stories, the whole 9 yards. Always love these conversations. Excited to see all the things you'll accomplish this year, and we'll run it back soon.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks for having me, and let me know when you're in Ann Arbor. We'll get a run in here.
I know we say it every episode, but we'll make it happen.
All right, text me, man. Yeah.